All right, let's talk about something really important. Have you ever wondered why every day feels the same, or why life doesn't always go the way you planned? The answer, my friend, is actually right inside your brain. Right now, your brain is constantly being influenced by the media, by society, by what everyone else considers normal. Without even realizing it, you might be walking a path someone else designed for you. And deep down, doesn't that just feel a little off? Maybe you wake up to an alarm at the same time every day, take the same commute, spend the same hours, and have the same frustrations. Or maybe, from the outside, you have a fantastic career, decent status, a good income. You've achieved superficial success. But still, in the quiet corners of your mind, there's a sense of emptiness. That feeling, right there, that's a message from your soul. It's that gut instinct telling you, I can't keep going like this. And guess what? That instinct is absolutely right. Because humans have this incredible power, the ability to reinvent themselves. The secret of the super successful. I'm about to share something pretty mind-blowing. The biggest movers and shakers in the world, the ones who truly shape things, they all have one thing in common. They've mastered the art of self-brainwashing. That's right. They're not being brainwashed, they're doing the brainwashing. What I'm about to reveal is the ultimate success formula, known only to those at the very top. Imagine for a moment you have a garden. What does it look like right now? Maybe it's overgrown with weeds, neglected, or perhaps it's tidied up, but it's lost its true beauty. Either way, that's okay, because that garden holds incredible potential. Your thoughts are like seeds, and they hold infinite power. That power is the ability to recreate yourself exactly as you wish. The power of self-brainwashing. You are the gardener of this space, with absolute control. How you nurture those seeds of thought is entirely up to you. You can make them blossom beautifully, bear amazing fruit, or let them wither away. It's all decided by your will. Yes, this garden is your mind. Now, you might be thinking, there's no way I can change now, it's too late for me. I totally get that feeling. I've been there. Many successful people around the world have felt the same way. But that's the biggest mistake you can make. Today I'm going to tell you the secret to transforming this neglected plot into a sanctuary of overwhelming success. Your mind. Your masterpiece. Think about it. Every change the world has ever seen started with a single thought in someone's mind. A tiny seed of thought has moved history. The billionaires I've met worldwide, they all started from rock bottom. The difference? They knew how to cultivate this garden of the mind. They knew the techniques to turn it into a powerhouse of wealth and success. That's it. Stop complaining about not having talent. Stop making excuses about your environment. You have infinite potential waiting inside you. Because from today on, things will be different. You're about to learn the secret. The fertile ground for this garden is the mindset of success. A strong mind that attracts wealth and success can only grow from this soil. When your thoughts take root in this rich ground, amazing changes will begin. This has the power to transform your life from chaos into clarity. Let me be honest with you. The methods I'm about to reveal aren't for the faint of heart. This is about thoroughly brainwashing yourself. We're talking about a completely different dimension than just positive thinking. This isn't just warm, encouraging words. What we're going to discuss is a profound technique to completely rewrite your brain. Are you ready for this? Are you prepared to learn this ultimate success formula? This very moment, will you decide to change your life, or will you keep repeating the same days? The choice is yours. If you're ready, let's take the next step together. The journey to transform your mind's garden into an eternally fruitful paradise begins now. I'm going to teach you step by step the brainwashing techniques practiced by those at the top of the world. The unshakable power of belief. Let's get down to business. What's the most crucial foundation for self-brainwashing for success? It's that absolute conviction, that unshakable belief. But this is where many people misunderstand. Belief isn't just a vague, I'll try my best kind of thought. It's an overwhelming conviction, etched into every single cell of your being. The first step in self-brainwashing, as practiced by the world's wealthiest, begins with burning an unyielding belief into your brain. I will succeed. It's already a decided fact. You might be thinking, is it really that simple? No, it's actually much harder than you imagine. That's because the human brain is wired to prefer the status quo. Right now, your brain is probably filled with memories of failures and setbacks. Past negative experiences will try to block the formation of new beliefs. That's exactly why brainwashing is necessary here. You need to completely rewrite your brain. Let me share a concrete method. First, the moment you wake up each morning, declare this: I will definitely succeed. It's already a decided fact. Repeat this out loud 100 times. Does it sound ridiculous? Well, some of the world's top investors repeat it 1,000 times every morning. Do you know why? Because the brain accepts repeated patterns as truth. Next, you need to gather evidence to strengthen this belief. It's not as hard as it sounds. Write down every single small success you've had in your life. Did you get a good grade on a test? Were you praised at work? Did someone thank you for something? Write them all down without missing a single one. Then, read them every single day. This will deepen your brain's conviction that you are a person who can succeed. Even more importantly, you need to redefine failure. The world's top entrepreneurs think of it this way: failure is simply the moment you gain the necessary information for success. Thoroughly internalize this way of thinking. Then, a strange thing will start to happen. What you once considered failures will now be seen as essential learning experience for your next success. This is the true beginning of self-brainwashing. Your brain will automatically start drawing a map to success. Obstacles in front of you will even seem like welcome opportunities for growth. Let me share a quote from a billionaire. Every day, I thoroughly cleanse my brain. All yesterday's failures, all past regrets, I turn them all into fuel for success. That's my first routine every morning. In fact, this is the secret ritual of successful people. They all intentionally program their brains, and the most fundamental foundation for this is belief. So let's start right now. As you listen to my words, declare deeply within your heart, I have infinite potential. You might not believe that something so simple can change your life, but this is the first step of brainwashing that successful people practice. Your brain is already starting to change this very moment. That change will eventually manifest as reality, because your brain is loyal to the commands it's given. As you're hearing my words, a change has already begun within you. Yes, this very moment, watching this, is the first step to changing your life. Now, let's move on to the next step. Deeper self-brainwashing techniques await you. Sculpting your reality with thought now. This is where the real mind transformation begins. The world's wealthiest individuals all agree on one crucial truth. Success is the alchemy that transforms thought into reality. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever thought of your life as a work of art? Right now, you are the sculptor, carving your own masterpiece. Every single thought is a strike of the chisel, shaping your reality. Does that sound exaggerated? No, it's an undeniable truth. The world's top executives know this law inside and out. That's why they meticulously manage their thoughts every single day. One CEO of a major company once said, "Every morning, I ask myself in the mirror, what masterpiece will I create today?" Why do they go to such lengths? Because they know firsthand that thoughts create reality. So let's get into the practical techniques. First, recognize your thoughts as the sculptor's chisel. Every thought is carving the marble of your life. Negative thoughts create scratches on the artwork. Positive thoughts produce beautiful curves. But negative thoughts are hard to get rid of, right? That's true. But the key isn't to erase them. It's to replace them. I'll teach you the ultimate thought replacement method practiced by a world-renowned investor. It's about changing but to therefore. Instead of, my job is tough, but I have to try my best, change it to, my job is tough, therefore I can grow significantly. Instead of, I don't have money, but I need to figure something out, change it to, I don't have money, therefore I can learn new ways to earn it. This therefore magic transforms every reality into possibility. There's an even more powerful technique, dialogue with your future self. World-class entrepreneurs practice this daily. They consult with their 3 years from now self about current decisions. And amazing things happen. Current difficulties look completely different. Why? Because you're seeing the present through the eyes of your successful future self. Your reality is constantly changing, even at this very moment. The direction of that change is determined by your thoughts. When a negative thought pops up, ask yourself, what kind of mark will this leave on my life, this work of art? The world's wealthiest always maintain this perspective. That's why they remain unshaken when faced with difficulties. In fact, they even use those difficulties as shadows that add depth to their masterpiece. Your life, your masterpiece, is being created right now. Put down the dull chisel of negative thoughts and pick up the sharp chisel of positive thoughts. If you do, your reality will start to change at an astonishing speed, because thoughts always manifest as reality. This is a scientific fact, and a possibility open to everyone. Now, in the next step, I'll teach you techniques to further accelerate this power of thought. The power of choice. I want to ask you, right now, who is holding the reins of your life? This might be a tough question, but I'm going to challenge you. Do you wake up to an alarm at the same time every day, go to work, do what you're told, and then, tired at night, scroll through social media? Have you been repeating these days for years? You might think it's normal, but the world's successful people declare the accumulation of daily choices creates the wealth gap 5 years from now. Listen closely. Even at this very moment, your brain is making choices. Will you seriously watch this video or just skim through it? Will you implement what you learn or put it off for later? Every single one of these choices determines your future. A world-class entrepreneur once said, 90% of life is decided by small daily choices. Do you understand the true meaning of this? For example, what do you think the moment you wake up? Ugh, work again? Or today is another step towards success? Just a momentary difference in thought, but this difference determines the quality of your entire 24 hours. Because the brain is loyal to the first command it's given. If you start your day with a negative thought, your brain will collect negative information all day. The scenery you see on your commute, your boss's comments in a meeting, everything will be interpreted negatively. But here's an important question. Are you really satisfied with a life like that? No, you want to change, don't you? That desire must be swirling inside you. I'm about to give you the ultimate power of choice, the brainwashing technique of choice, practiced by top entrepreneurs. First, view every daily choice as an investment. How you use your time, conversations with people, the information you consume, judge everything from the perspective of an investment. What will this choice produce for my future self? This single question changes all your decision criteria. The time you spend on social media, conversations with friends, the books you read, everything becomes an investment. One real estate mogul said, "I grade my choices every day. I ruthlessly assign a penalty to actions with no investment value." It might sound extreme, but this is the mindset of those who build wealth. So let's put it into practice. From today, make this phrase your mantra. What will this choice bring to my 5 years from now self? Ask this question for all your choices. How you use your time during your commute, how you spend your breaks, your evening habits. Then, a strange transformation will begin. Habits you thought were normal will suddenly appear as a waste of time. Conversely, actions you avoided because they seemed troublesome will now be recognized as necessary investments. This is the awakening of true power of choice. Your brain will automatically guide you to the optimal choices. But let me warn you, the moment you gain this power of choice, the people around you will start to notice your change. And they might try to hold you back. They'll say things like, "You're changing too fast," or "Don't push yourself." That's when your resolve will be tested. Will you take absolute responsibility for your choices, or will you be swayed by the voices around you? Are you ready for it? Ready to walk the path of a true success? In the next section, I'll teach you techniques to transform that resolve into unshakable conviction. The magnetic power of gratitude and environment. The shortest path to success is gratitude. Do you know why world-class entrepreneurs say this in unison? Perhaps you're thinking, how can I be grateful for my current situation? If so, you are the person who needs to hear this the most. In fact, gratitude is the most powerful self-brainwashing tool. That's because gratitude has the power to literally rewire the structure of your brain. Let me tell you about an astonishing habit of one investor. Every morning, he looked at his bank balance and said, "Thank you," even if the amount was only 1/10 of what he desired. What changes can that make? The answer lies in neuroscience. When you feel gratitude, serotonin and dopamine are released in your brain. These substances switch your brain into success mode. In other words, gratitude is a chemical reaction that creates a success-oriented brain. So why do the wealthiest emphasize gratitude so much? Because gratitude acts as a magnet that attracts opportunities. Think about it. Between someone who constantly complains and someone who acts with gratitude, who would you rather do business with? The answer is obvious. Opportunities naturally gravitate towards grateful people. People want to gather around those who are grateful, but I want to warn you, half-hearted gratitude can actually be harmful. If you just think, well, there are some things I can be grateful for, the chemical reaction in your brain won't happen. I'll teach you the gratitude technique practiced by the world's wealthiest. It's called extreme gratitude. What's the most difficult thing you're experiencing right now? That very struggle is your greatest gift, because that struggle makes you grow. Do you have a critical boss? Fantastic. That's the best coach to train your mental strength. Are you lamenting a lack of money? That's your chance to gain the wisdom to create wealth. You might think, there's no way I can think like that. That's why this is called brainwashing. It's the technique of intentionally rewriting your reality. That's extreme gratitude. Next, let's talk about the power of your environment. What kind of environment are you in right now? What kind of people are around you? This might be tough to hear, but your income will move closer to the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is a statistical fact. One billionaire once said, "Every year I reevaluate the people I associate with. I keep my distance from friends whose incomes are declining." It might sound cold, but this is a law of success. Does that sound harsh? But the environment is the strongest brainwashing device. If you spend time with successful people, you'll develop a success-oriented brain. If you spend time with struggling people, you'll develop a struggling brain. This is an unavoidable reality. So let me give you a concrete strategy. From today, change these habits. First, review who you follow on social media. Keep only those who post about success, action, and progress. Ruthlessly mute anyone who posts complaints or negativity. Next, review your offline connections. Seek out people who celebrate your growth and actively interact with them. Distance yourself from anyone who undermines your changes. But isn't that being unkind? That kindness is hindering your growth. It might sound harsh, but this is the choice successful people make. They know that changing your environment is the most efficient self-brainwashing. Remember, the power of gratitude and environment multiply their effects. If you place yourself in the optimal environment with a grateful heart, your path to success will accelerate astonishingly. Now, let's move on to the next step. Deeper brainwashing techniques await you. The dialogue of your destiny. Who do you talk to the most every day? The answer is yourself. Our brains process about 60,000 thoughts a day. Each one is a conversation with yourself. Here's a shocking truth. The world's wealthiest people meticulously manage this inner dialogue. Do you know why? Because self-talk is the most powerful brainwashing tool. One world-renowned investor said, "My wealth was built through my conversations with myself." It might sound like an exaggeration, but it's an undeniable truth. What kind of self-talk are you repeating right now? "I can't do it anyway. I'm not as good as that person. It's too late to change now." These negative self-talk patterns are actually a form of harmful self-brainwashing. Your brain accepts repeated words as truth. In other words, you are unknowingly brainwashing yourself with a loser's program. Are you shocked? But there's hope here. If you use the same principle, you can install a winner's program. I'll teach you the hero's dialogue technique practiced by top entrepreneurs worldwide. First, consciously change your inner voice. The moment a negative thought pops up, immediately rewrite it. If you hear the voice saying, "I can't do it," declare, "I've already started." If resignation takes over, saying, It's impossible, switch to I'll find a way. When you feel like you've failed, accept it as I've learned one more thing. Did you think these were just small word changes? But these changes are actually rewiring your brain's neural pathways. Here's a more advanced technique. Dialogue with your future self. Global success stories practice this daily. The method is simple. Close your eyes and visualize your successful self 5 years from now. Then, have a conversation with that self about your actions today. What will this choice bring to my 5 years from now self? Will my 5 years from now self be proud of today's efforts? As you continue this dialogue, amazing changes will begin. You'll be less swayed by immediate temptations. You'll start choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. Why? Because your future self exists within you. An even more important technique is the habit of the winner's declaration. Stand in front of a mirror every morning and evening and declare, I will definitely succeed. Every obstacle strengthens me. My value is increasing daily. Does that sound extreme? But CEOs of global companies do this. They know that words have the power to create reality. Here's a habit of one billionaire. He sets his target wealth amount as his smartphone password. That means he types that number dozens of times a day. Do you know why? It's to impress it upon his brain. So, let's start now. First, become aware of your inner voice. When a negative thought pops up, immediately rewrite it. When you hear the voice saying, I'm not satisfied with myself, don't hesitate to say, that's exactly why I can change dramatically. When you're overwhelmed by the thought, I don't have time, accept it as, this is a perfect opportunity to optimize my priorities. If anxiety about not having connections pops up, confidently say, infinite opportunities for new connections are expanding. Consciously continue this rewriting. At first, it might feel unnatural. That's normal because this is brainwashing. But with persistence, amazing changes will occur. Your reality will literally transform because your subconscious mind has the power to make your given words a reality. Now, let's move on to the next step. Deeper mind transformation techniques await you. Visualizing your victory. There's a ritual that the world's wealthiest people perform every morning and night. Success visualization. Oh, not that again, you might think. But their visualization is on a completely different level than what you might imagine. It's the ultimate brainwashing that completely rewrites the brain. One world-class entrepreneur said, every morning I spend 30 minutes imagining the future. It's not just daydreaming, it's the process of impressing a new reality upon my brain. Why do they go to such lengths? The reason lies in the amazing characteristics of the brain. The brain cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. The more you visualize, the more it gets etched into your brain as a memory. In other words, visualization is the process of creating future memories. So let's get into the practical techniques. First, start with infinite success visualization. Close your eyes and envision your successful self 5 years from now. The crucial point here is that it shouldn't be a vague image. Make it vivid, detailed, and create every single detail. What kind of house do you live in? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of suit are you wearing? How much cash is in your wallet? What's your bank balance? What perfume are you wearing? What kind of watch? Successful people call this meticulous attention to detail the blueprint for success. The more precise the blueprint, the higher the possibility of it becoming real. Even more importantly, it's about emotional visualization. When you achieve that success, what emotions will well up inside you? What sense of fulfillment will you experience? What pride will you feel? Pull that emotion into the present moment. One real estate mogul, when he was on the brink of bankruptcy, spent every morning in the lobby of a luxury hotel. He did it to physically absorb the atmosphere of success. It might sound like a funny story, but he bought that hotel 3 years later. Because the brain recognizes the given image as a goal and unconsciously optimizes its actions towards its realization. Now, let me introduce a more practical technique, success pathway visualization. Many people are satisfied just imagining the final goal, but that's weak. True visualization is about imagining the entire journey to get there, like a movie. What obstacles will you face? How will you overcome them? Who will you meet, and what will you learn? How will you grow during that process? Visualize everything vividly. I don't have time for that, you might think. One CEO of a global company once said, "Success doesn't come to those who grudge even 30 minutes of daily visualization." It might sound harsh, but that's the reality. Successful people, without fear of what others might call daydreaming, thoroughly visualized their future, and that visualization always became reality. Because it wasn't mere daydreaming, it was the rewriting of their brain. Here's the most powerful visualization technique I can give you. It's called reverse visualization, and imagine rewinding time from the future to the present. From your 5-year goal, ask, what will I be doing in 4 years? Where will I be in 3 years? What will I have achieved in 2 years? What will I have started in the 1 year? And what should I do today? By breaking down concrete steps in reverse, a strange phenomenon occurs. What you need to do becomes crystal clear. Unnecessary actions are naturally eliminated. The shortest path to your goal becomes clearly visible. This is the essence of self-brainwashing through visualization. Finally, a warning. This technique can be dangerous if used incorrectly, because it's too powerful. The future you visualize will definitely become reality. That's why that future must be what your soul truly desires. So close your eyes now and start imagining your future. In the next section, I'll teach you even more powerful techniques to ensure that future, the alchemy of adversity. The greatest successes are born from the worst circumstances. Do you know why the world's wealthiest say this? You might be in a difficult situation right now. Maybe you're in an unstable, temporary job. Maybe your income isn't satisfactory. Maybe you're anxious about the future. Or maybe it's the opposite. You have a stable job, a decent income, but something is missing. You're not doing what you truly want to do. You might be feeling that way. I'm about to tell you the shocking truth. Your current situation can be your greatest weapon. One world-class entrepreneur said, "I'm wary of people who are too privileged, because they often lack the drive to break through." Can you understand the true meaning of this? Adversity cultivates an overwhelming power within you that cannot be gained by walking only a smooth path. The emotions swirling within you right now, impatience, anxiety, frustration, ambition, these can all be fuel for success. The only problem is whether you know how to use them. I'll teach you the alchemy of adversity, practiced by the world's wealthiest. First, a 180-degree shift in interpretation. If you're dissatisfied with your current situation, that's your greatest opportunity. Because having little to lose means you have the freedom to take risks. People who have already achieved stability and status fear losing it and avoid what they truly want to do. you have fewer of those restrictions. You can boldly try new challenges, new businesses, new investments. This freedom is your greatest weapon. Do you feel like your job isn't going well? Excellent. That will train your patience, a crucial skill for success. Do you feel like you lack connections? That's your chance to build genuine connections, because relationships built from the ground up are the strongest. Are you feeling financial pressure? That's the best textbook for learning the true essence of value. This feeling cannot be gained in a privileged environment. Everything, depending on your interpretation, can be either a burden or an asset. One real estate mogul, during his most difficult period, wrote in his notebook every night, "Why was I given this trial? What value will this experience create in the future? What will I gain after overcoming this?" And he always found the answers. Then a strange change began to occur. The more trials he faced, the more answers he found. Each of those answers became a seed for future success. So let's share a practical method. Tonight, write down all the challenges you're facing. Then ask yourself for each challenge, what power is this experience giving me? What skill is this trial cultivating in me? How will this situation become a weapon in the future? At first, you might not find the answers, but this is the alchemy of adversity. It's the technique of transforming suffering into strength, trials into opportunities, and setbacks into growth. One billionaire declared, "All my business ideas were born from adversity. If I had walked only a smooth path, I wouldn't be who I am today." Engrave these words deeply in your heart. The trials you're facing right now might actually be your greatest gifts. The people at the top of the world have all mastered this alchemy of adversity. That's why they can bounce back from any situation and always recover, even if they lose everything. Because they know that true value lies not in external circumstances, but in internal interpretation. So, start your alchemy now. From that moment on, all adversity will begin to transform into a stepping stone to success. In the next section, I'll teach you techniques to further amplify this power, the infinite return of self-investment. The greatest investment in life is an investment in yourself. Do you know why the world's wealthiest are obsessed with this statement? They know that true wealth isn't in a bank account, but within themselves. Here's a shocking truth. Many of the world's top entrepreneurs spend more than an hour a day learning. I don't have that kind of time, hey, you might think. But consider this. Why are they still learning so diligently, even with all their wealth? Because they know the most important law: wealth is merely an external manifestation of inner value. Do you understand the true meaning of this? In other words, as you grow internally, your external reality will naturally follow. So I'll teach you the alchemy of learning practiced by the world's wealthiest. First, redefine learning. Many people have a narrow view of learning. Reading books, attending seminars. While those are forms of learning, true learning is much deeper. Infinite learning opportunities are hidden in your daily life. Conversations with people on your commute, the actions of colleagues at work, discussions with clients. Everything can be raw material for learning. One entrepreneur said, "I learn even from convenience store clerks. Their customer service is sometimes more refined than that of executives in top corporations." This perception is the essence of the alchemy of learning. If you change your perspective, everything becomes a textbook. Now, let's look at a concrete practice method. First, prepare a learning notebook. It can even be the memo function on your smartphone. Every day, jot down 3 things you learned. Who did you learn from today? What insights did you gain? What can you put into practice? That's all. Just 5 minutes a day can start changing your life. Because your brain only remembers facts that you've consciously acknowledged. Unconscious experiences are just a waste of time. There's an even more important technique, reverse-engineered learning. From the person you want to be 5 years from now, reverse-engineer the skills you need. What will you need then? What should you start learning now to get there? Then, a strange transformation begins. Time you once wasted will turn into productive learning time. Time spent on social media will become time for marketing research. Casual conversations will become time for observing human psychology. Commute time will become time for audiobooks. Everything, depending on your interpretation, can be either a waste of time or a creation of value. One real estate mogul said, "I view everything in my daily life as an investment. How can I create value in these 15 minutes? I'm always thinking about that." It might sound extreme, but this is the mindset of those who build wealth. And the most crucial point, learning should never be self-centered. Always share the knowledge you gain with others. Learning deepens when you teach. Knowledge becomes wisdom when you put it into practice. This is why the world's wealthiest give expensive speeches and write books. It's a way for them to solidify their own learning. So, let's start now. After you finish watching this video, I want you to share what you learned with someone, even if it's just a quick thought. From that moment on, your alchemy of learning begins. Knowledge starts turning into wisdom. Insights start turning into intuition. Learning starts turning into wealth. Now, in the next section, I'll teach you techniques to further accelerate that learning. Unlocking your true potential. The most dangerous thing is to give up on your own potential. Do you understand the meaning behind this statement from the world's wealthiest? They realize that human potential is far greater than we can imagine. Here's a surprising fact. One study showed that people typically use less than 30% of their true capabilities. That means there's still 70% of dormant power within you. That can't be right, you might think. But consider this. When people are pushed to their limits, they often perform at many times their usual capacity. That's a sign that dormant abilities have awakened. I'll teach you the self-awakening technique practiced by the world's wealthiest. First, start by listening to your inner voice. There's a voice constantly whispering deep within your heart, "I want a bigger challenge. I truly want to take a different path. I want to achieve something great." Have you ignored that voice until now? Or have you dismissed it as unrealistic? But that voice is a message from your dormant potential. One entrepreneur said, "Every morning, I set aside time to dialogue with my inner voice. I always find the answer in the direction that voice leads me." It might sound unique, but this is the essence of self-discovery. So let's discuss a concrete method. First, create a possibility notebook. Write down the dreams you're nurturing deep in your heart. No censorship. Write it down, no matter how unrealistic it seems, because your true potential is hidden within those unrealistic dreams. Next, break that dream down into incremental goals. For example, let's say your dream is to create a business that changes the world. Break it down like this. First, change one person's life. then changed 10 lives, then 100, then 1,000. Suddenly, that dream transforms into a realistic goal. This is the first step of self-discovery. An even more important technique is the development of adaptability. The world is changing at a furious pace. Only those who can adapt to that change will survive. One entrepreneur declared, "Wealth gravitates towards those who can adapt fastest to change." So, how do you cultivate that adaptability? The method is surprisingly simple. Every day, challenge yourself to do one new thing. Take a different route to work. Read a book in an unfamiliar field, cook a new dish, talk to a new person. The accumulation of small changes cultivates great adaptability. This is a habit that the world's wealthiest always practice, because they know the undeniable truth. Those who fear change will always be left behind by the times. But here's an important warning. This path of self-discovery and adaptability development is never easy, because it's a battle against your existing self. Your brain seeks stability and tries to avoid change. That's an instinct for survival. But if you follow that instinct, you'll never achieve great success. One entrepreneur said, "Every day I make an effort to make myself uncomfortable. That deep feeling of discomfort is a sign of growth." So start now. After you finish watching this video, immediately challenge yourself to something new. It doesn't matter what it is. The important thing is to take action. Because action is the magic wand that awakens dormant potential. In the next section, I'll teach you techniques to further accelerate that action. The circle of success. If you want to be successful, spend time with successful people. Do you know why the world's wealthiest have made this their motto? They realize that human consciousness gravitates towards the average of the people they spend time with. Here's a shocking truth. Scientific research shows that a person's consciousness converges to the average of the 5 people closest to them. In other words, your future is almost entirely determined by who you spend your time with now. But I don't have any connections with successful people, you might think. That thought, right there, is the chain holding you back. I'll teach you the alchemy of relationships practiced by the world's wealthiest. First, start by evaluating your relationships. Write down the people you usually interact with. Do they lift you up, or do they encourage you to stay where you are? Have the courage to face this question honestly. One entrepreneur said, "When I decided to start my business, the first thing I did was reevaluate my relationships. It was a painful decision, but it became the foundation of my current success." It might sound harsh, but this is the first step towards success. So let's discuss concrete practices. First, create a circle of growth. It can be online or offline. Find people who are achieving results in the field you aspire to. Then join communities they're part of. "But I have nothing to offer," you might think. Big mistake. Your eagerness to learn is your greatest value. One investor said, "When I was young, I attended a dinner with a billionaire. The cost was half my monthly income at the time. But what I learned there changed my life." The important thing is the perspective of investment. Building relationships also requires investment. Investment of time, money, and energy. All of it will definitely return many times over in value. An even more important technique is the creation of a value cycle. Relationships should never be one-sided. When you gain knowledge, always give back to someone. When you gain experience, always share it with someone. When you achieve success, always help someone else. This cycle accelerates your growth. one real estate mogul practices this. Every week, I set aside time to contribute to someone's success. That makes my own success even greater. Here's an important insight. Successful people gather not just for mutual benefit. They are all creators of a value cycle. That's why they strongly attract each other. So let's start now. First, review your social media connections. Find people who are sharing information that helps you grow. Actively engage with their communities. Ask questions. Share your thoughts. Share what you've learned. Even a small step is enough. That step will bring you the encounters that change your life. One entrepreneur declared, "If you want to change your life, change the people you meet." That's the most certain shortcut to success. Remember, everyone initially feels like they have nothing to offer, but that humility is the magnet that attracts successful people. Now, in the next section, I'll teach you techniques to make that magnet even stronger. Assesta, the ultimate integration. Winning the inner battle. The greatest battle in life is the battle with yourself. Can you now understand why the world's wealthiest cling to this statement? I've shared the ultimate self-brainwashing techniques up to this point, and now it's time to integrate all of them. First, a shocking truth. The world's wealthiest people practice all these techniques simultaneously. They cultivate their garden of thought, perform the alchemy of adversity, build learning pathways, and form a magnetic field of relationships. It's truly an all-out war of consciousness. Can I really do something like that? That question must have crossed your mind. But consider this. Aren't you already starting to change? Compared to when you first started watching this video, something is definitely different, isn't it? That's the power of self-brainwashing. One world-class entrepreneur said, "At first, it all starts as an act, but as you keep acting, you unconsciously become your true self." Do you understand the true meaning of this? To become the person you want to be, you don't have to be perfect from the start. In fact, starting from an imperfect place is the most certain path to success. So I'll teach you how to integrate all these techniques. First, start with a morning ritual. The moment you wake up, declare, "Today, I am stronger than I was yesterday." Then, water your garden of thought. Sow seeds of gratitude, cultivate seeds of possibility, and shine light on seeds of determination. Next, practice throughout the day. View every event as material for learning, difficulties as opportunities for growth, failures as steps in evolution, criticism as hints for improvement. And at night, perform the alchemy of reflection. What did you learn? Who did you meet? How did you grow? Be sure to record these in a notebook, because by recording them, experiences transform into conviction. One entrepreneur practices this. "Every day, I collect evidence of success. Even small successes, I always record them." That becomes a magnet that attracts even greater success. Even more important is building a system for consistency. Growth in isolation will always reach its limits. That's why you need companions who will grow with you. It can be online or offline. Find companions who share your aspirations, inspire each other, uplift each other, support each other. That makes self-brainwashing permanent. Here's a final warning. This self-brainwashing technique can be dangerous if misused, because it's the power to create reality. That's why that power must be used for someone else's happiness, This is why the world's wealthiest are so passionate about social contribution. It's not because they expect something in return. They know that creating a cycle of value attracts even greater success. So let's integrate everything up to this point. Sow new seeds in your garden of thought. Nurture those seeds with the alchemy of adversity. Accelerate your growth with the circuits of learning. Amplify that growth with the magnetic field of relationships. And most importantly, take action. Because knowledge only becomes power when it's put into practice. After you finish watching this video, immediately take the first step. It doesn't matter what it is. The important thing is to start moving. Because the moment you start moving, your life will definitely begin to change. This is a promise. It's an undeniable fact, proven by the world's wealthiest. So begin your consciousness revolution now. From this moment on, a new history begins, and it will definitely bear the fruit of success, because you now have all the ultimate self-brainwashing techniques in your hands.